Hey gang, what's up? We're back with another teacher vlog for this week's observations. It's been a super fun week and I'm super excited to talk about the things that I've been seeing in the classroom. Once again, if you're super interested at all in any of this content, feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. The standard YouTube things, but also just feel free to watch and it'll be a fun time. Today's topic is going to be time management. What's up with that? That being said, I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I'm a little bored of this setting. I think my first vlog was in this room and I kind of want to change things up. So if you'll help me out real quick, I just think it's time to change things up. So I'm just gonna count down from 5 and just think about, as I count down, think about the outside. Think about the outside and we'll see if we can get us there. I'm gonna try. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh my gosh. Whew. That was almost bad, y'all. Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, that was a little crazy. I completely forgot that when I sent my phone away, that it wouldn't take me with you. But I luckily found my phone. We're located at the little turtle pond right now, if anybody's interested in that. Little waterfall, little view. But this is where we are today. So let's just jump right into it and start answering some questions. And we'll just see where it takes us, all right? So to start, the biggest question that I think is more prevalent when talking about time management is the term and use of bell-to-bell instruction. And what does that look like? For those of you who don't know, bell-to-bell instruction is the idea that a lesson starts as soon as the bell rings and ends until the bell rings again at the end of the class period. You want to keep your students engaged the entire time, because if they're just sitting there doing nothing, then what good is them being in class for? You know, we want to aim for as close to bell instruction. Whoa. That's crazy, didn't even plan that. But we're aiming for bell-to-bell instruction in all of our lessons. And I would say that my CT is fairly moderate when it comes to bell-to-bell instruction. The big thing is that students are engaged the entire time, which is 100% certain, and that's what I think classifies as bell-to-bell instruction. The big thing, however, is that a lot of time is spent on bell ringers, and there's a lot of free range in terms of how long can be spent on bell ringers. So there's a lot of just students just finishing things up, and then as soon as they're done with the bell ringer, they're kind of idle, which can be a bit of a problem for some teachers, but I don't mind it too much. It's good to let students sort of chill out for a second before theater class. Another thing to mention is that I actually haven't really seen my CT teach a full-blown lesson yet. I've seen my CT's new teacher teach a lesson on stages and stuff like that, which was very, very interesting, and that was good bell to bell. But in terms of my actual CT, has been very focused on basic skills, but usually through game and stuff like that. Less lecture, if that makes sense. But still keeping the students engaged 100% of the time. Like I said, the big thing for routines and procedures is bell ringers every day. There's always a creative writing prompt, which I absolutely love. And then as soon as there's time for that, we sort of just jump straight into whatever the activity is. This week, we did a lot of tableau making. I actually got to lead a game regarding speed tableaus and telling them how to use levels, actor positions, and different areas of the stage to help create their tableau in reference to where the audience is and using points of focus and stuff like that. It was actually really, really fun. But that being said, it's a little bit looser in terms of bell-to-bell instruction, which for some may not work, but I think it totally works for this setting in theater classroom. And so yes, in terms of what they can do when they finish the assignments, really that was the one thing that I was hoping to see a little bit more of. And the problem is I totally understand it's a hard thing to manage. It's hard to give your students something to do when they're finished, because you want if they finish early, it kind of feels like they should earn that little moment of free time. And it truthfully isn't holding the class back at all, so I don't think it is too bad of a problem. Now, I'm curious to see if we might want to switch locations again. I'm thinking we're going to do that after one more question. The next question: how much time does the CT dedicate, goodness, to various activities such as lecture, small group, or class discussions, and what type of transitions? if any, are utilized? Is there a proper balance of a lot of time for each activity? Usually, from my experience, it's been a lot of just one activity, but that being said, there's always opportunity for discussion, for reflection, and for collaboration. Every activity is a group activity of some kind. There is no solo work in the theater classroom from what I've seen so far, which I love. I love group collaboration in theater. I think that solo work is kind of boring, and I think it's good to make people work together. Additionally, I think that the reflection time is super, super helpful. What happened this week in particular for our Tableau stuff is we would make a Tableau and we'd say, okay, what elements are we seeing here? And it would become an open discussion talking about, okay, how are levels used? How are actor positions used? How are actors' positions used to draw focus to certain areas? Stuff like that, questions like that I think are really, really important for students' reflections. And so I think that there's a good amount of small group discussion, but like I said earlier, not really any lecture that I've seen so far, because lecture can be kind of boring, and I understand. I have seen lecture through the other teacher that is not my CT, but the not co-teacher, but new teacher at the high school that I'm observing at, and he is he's a first-year teacher, and so his lecture is very formal, I would say, but he does everything in his power to make it as interactive and fun as possible, and I think he does a pretty good job. But that being said, the transitions are usually pretty chill. It's usually just, hey, get up, move to this spot, and let's discuss what's about to happen. And then as we transition to other activities, there's a lot of, okay, let's think about how we can use these skills we've learned to apply to the activity we're doing, which I think is an awesome, awesome skill. Okay. Yes, I think it's time for us to transition locations. So once again, count down with me from 5, and then we're gonna send us away. All right, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh my gosh, you guys. Sorry that y'all are on the ground again. I'm really embarrassed. This is just, this idea just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I tried really hard to take me with y'all, and it just didn't work. So I've been searching for the past hour, but thankfully found you guys again. And we're back. Hopefully, on our next transition, I'll be able to take me with y'all. I think I figured out a method, but we'll get there when we get there. To start, let's just get back into some questions. A really, really fun one that I saw is, how does the CT respond when things are feeling rushed or too slow? This is something that I am super, super scared about, because I am so bad at gauging timing for activities, and so I want to make sure that my activities are not feeling too rushed or too slow, and that it's keeping students engaged all the time, if that makes sense. And so this is a question that I was super interested to learn about, and truthfully, things are balanced in a pretty good way. My CT very, very clearly understands students' needs and how long it's going to take them to do certain things, because I completely was like, let's speed through this, let's go super, super fast, and she was like, hey, let's slow down, it's totally okay, it's going to work. And so there was never really any moments where things felt rushed or where things felt slow. Thankfully, during our game, whenever I was facilitating, there was a bit of a moment where a student was taking a really long time to guess something, and I would say that maybe felt a little slow, but then she was very, very good about giving hints and helping things along with leaving room for students to find the conclusion and answer for themselves. So without explicitly giving them the answer, but while giving them little crumbs to help, sort of scaffold their way up to the answer, and then they find it on their own, and it's really, really awesome. I thought it was super, super cool. Are they aware of any of the timing and what they do to either slow down, speed up, or fill any empty and awkward pauses? I think they're very aware of the timing that things take, but they have been killer about making sure that there's not really any awkward dead space. It's always very, very good with a conversation, a witty little joke if need be to fill in the gaps, which I've found very, very useful. And is very much in my style of teaching as well. So I'm super, super pumped about that, because that's been super, super awesome. And then finally, as our last question, what is a strategy or method that the CT uses to manage time and keep students on task that you might consider incorporating in your own practice? One, like I said, using conversation as just a basic time filler is really, really good. Learning what's going on in your students' lives and just sort of using conversation as a gateway, I think, is a super interesting tool, and it's something I'm super, super interested in. And it's sort of in my style. I'm a yapper. I love to talk, which is why I'm doing a vlog instead of a blog. And then other than that, just giving your students more time can often be a very valuable tool, which is what I've realized, because it allows especially in the arts, it allows them more time to iterate and to develop new ideas. And so I'm the kind of person who likes creativity under pressure originally. Like, that's what I think the most fun creative thing is, when you have a short amount of time or short resources and then you just have to kind of throw something together. I think it's fun. But over this past week, I've learned it's better to give more time, because for maybe some newer students, it helps them iterate more. And even if they think they're done, encourage them to keep iterating and keep creating. And they'll often find ways to, I don't want to say keep themselves busy, but to help, they'll find ways to keep themselves iterating and keep themselves creating and pushing their own boundaries in ways that they never thought, just so long as you give them the time that they need to do that. Otherwise, they're just going to be super rushed, and it can be really, really stressful. And I thought that was super, super inspiring. Okay, so that's about all the time we have for questions. That's all the time we have for questions. Now, I do want to get us home, so I'm going to try something. We're going to do another countdown from 5, but this time think about the background that my usual setting, the one from my first vlog and from the beginning of this video. If you need to scroll back, you totally can, and come back here. But the hope is that I have a new method. Rather than just snapping, I'm going to try to touch the camera. So that way, because in theory, the camera moves. If I'm touching the camera will take me with it, right? I think that makes sense. So let's try it all together. 5, 4, 3, 2, see you there, 1. Okay, we made it. Yeah, we made it and everything seems to be fine. Everything's chill. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I thank you for excusing me on these little blunders of teleportation, but we made it back. We got through the questions I wanted to answer, and it was a fun time, I think. So if you had a good time, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. But I'll see you guys next week for the next one. See you on the other side.
Not part of the vlog, but little raccoon. Hey, little guy. You okay? Little guy. You have fun.
Oh my goodness, it's a little family of raccoons. Hey y'all, I wish y'all safe travels on this dark and gloomy night. Crazy, crazy, crazy.